So let's rank all the films I watched for the first time for the month of August 2022 right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D. Back again with another ranking. Today I'm going to be ranking my August 2022 first-time watches. I watched 32 films for the first time ever last month. Now, most of these are going to be big surprises. Some of them may not. Now, like last time, I'm going to try and go rapid fire this time. Not giving you too many descriptions, so that way I can make the video a little shorter, just like I did with the rewatches ranking I did yesterday, okay? But I will be back on to talk about the top 5, though, okay? Now, if you're ready, let's get on with the rankings. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Number 32 is Cabin Fever from 2016. I didn't think this was good. This is another crappy shot-for-shot remake of Eli Roth's 2002 flick. I liked the original a whole lot more. I'd rather rewatch the crappy prequel or the sequel to the original over this abomination. The cast was completely bland. Characters were bland, although I liked the atmosphere of them showing the force from top, and the cabin looked alright, but I like the cabin from the original much more. Number 31 is Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return from 2014. This film bombed at the box office. I do think Lea Michele did an okay job with Dorothy, and this did have a pretty good all-star cast, but it's not great, though. I'd rather watch Journey Back to Oz over this, because, it just wasn't great. I'll review this sometime down the road. Don't count me defending this, you know. Number 30 is Me Time. This new Netflix film was okay and what have you. It didn't give me much as good life as I hoped for. With Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart, it has its moments in my view. I was going to review it, but since I was mixed on it, I decided not to, so no hard feelings. I will tell you I gave the film 3 stars, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 6. So just heads up. Just about this guy who just doesn't want to attend his longtime buddy's birthday party, but decides to go anyway. But they get into so much craziness and chaos and what have you. Number 29 is Star Trek The Final Frontier from 1989. This film didn't do too well because everybody was mixed on it. This was the film that killed the franchise in ways. I understand. It was okay in my view. I still appreciate William Shatner doing a fairly decent job on directing, since Leonard Nimoy had recently directed Search for Spock. But again, this one's alright. You will get a review of this later in the month. Number 28 is Jackass 2.5 from 2006. This is a documentary where they show us the making of Jackass number 2, plus some additional stunts at the end included. Not too much left to be said about this, but I really think this was overall fun in ways. Number 27 is Tourist Trap from 1979. And this film was good in some ways. I mean, it was actually a PG rated film, and I thought it was R rated, but it wasn't. But anyway, I thought the film was pretty good. I may have to give it a rewatch. It might do a little better. But overall, I did have a few good, shockingly good scares from this, though. Number 26 is Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie from 2017. I thought this was pretty good. I mean, this was more adventurous than its predecessor, even though it came to Netflix and Nickelodeon. Overall, I think old football heads' latest adventure, second movie was not too bad. Number 25 is Step Up All In from 2014. I finally managed to watch this in the fourth film, Revolution, which we'll see where that winds up. Now it means I finally saw all the Step Up films. I will try and review them and rank them later on. It was kind of a collision between the characters we saw in the last film and some from previous films, most notably the second one. And the film's not too bad. This didn't do as well as the other four, but overall, it wasn't too bad. Number 24 is The Bees from 1978. Now, this is kind of like a Mexican horror film. It still got some, well, just say it was shot around Mexico or something. And John Saxon was in it. It was okay. I mean, while this came out the same year as Irwin Allen's The Swarm came out, this film still has some pretty good kills and what have you, and I thought it was pretty good. At least it was shorter than The Swarm. Number 23 is Star Trek Generations from 1994. Now, this came out after Star Trek The Next Generation had just come to an end, and it was the first movie to feature the Next Generation cast, although we would see just a few from the original series back, including William Shatner. This film's pretty good. Well, and though I had planned to just review this 6 and 5, you might give a review of the maybe some of the other films this month, since forgot to stay on my schedule that it would be subject to change. So we'll see if I review any other squeeze in other Star Trek films. Stay tuned. Details to follow. But anyway, this film's not too bad. Number 22 is Jackass 3.5 from 2011. As this came out just shortly after Jackass 3 came out, and I want to say it has some more crazier, funny stunts and what have you, plus some behind the scenes footage of Jackass 3, which was good. Number 21 is Step Up Revolution from 2012. Well, despite I failed to see this while I had watched the first three not so long ago, but finally, after seeing this and all in, I have finally completed the Step Up franchise. Well, I gotta say, it's pretty good. It does have its moments, but hey, it does have a little bit of hotness and all that jazz. Number 20 is Alligator from 1980. This creature feature was really something. Well, it might not have been as, well, popular, well, maybe not as big as Jaws, but still, I think a lot of horror fanatics like this, even though this was another film to try to rip off Jaws in ways, but with a different creature. Well, I gotta say, it was pretty good. I got to see Robert Forster, may he rest in peace in this. Yeah, this one wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. Number 19 is Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa from 2013. This film was pretty funny. It had all sorts of crazy moments. Johnny Knoxville, absolutely really fun. It also had the youngster from the Halloween flick with Victoria Justice, Fun Size. Yeah, he was pretty funny too. I gotta review this sometime down the road, since I've already reviewed all the Jackass films, not counting 2.5 to 4.5. Number 18 is George A. Romero's Season of the Witch, aka Hungry Wives, from 1973. Not bad of a movie, kind of strange in ways, but still, it has its moments. It's pretty frightening, what have you, in some parts, especially when it got to the ending, what have you. I might review this for Spooktacular October this year, maybe. We'll see. Stay tuned. Number 17 is Jackass 4.5 from earlier this year. Just released shortly after Jackass Forever came out, which became a big success for the franchise. I gotta say, this behind the scenes look with the old and new cast members of Jackass, it was really something. And some of the stunts we didn't get to see were absolutely crazy as hell. Number 16 is The Bodyguard from 1992. Now, I only seem to recollect some of the, excuse me, seeing bits and pieces of the film, but I don't seem to recall seeing the film in its entirety until just recently. Well, Kevin Costner wasn't too bad, but it was Whitney Houston who was so amazing in this. The soundtrack to this was a big success too. I definitely got to review this film. I'm not sure if I may in time for its anniversary this year, though. Stay tuned. You'll see a review one day. Number 15 is The Toolbox Murders from 1978. This is a pretty good slasher and what have you. I gotta say, this was mind blowing from the start. It kind of slowed down a little bit, but I finally got the hang of what it was later on, and that was pretty suspenseful and mysterious and what have you. It's a pretty good horror flick of a classic. I haven't seen remakes of it though. I do know there's a remake out there, so if I encounter it, I'll look into that. Number 14 is Orphan First Kill. This prequel to the 2009 film was so good and what have you. I enjoyed it. Not quite as much as the first one, but still, it had some pretty good moments and what have you. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this film, you gotta check it out. Oops, sorry about that. Picture con. Well, sorry. My bad. Number 13 is Day Shift. This recent Netflix film is pretty awesome with Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, pretty good vampire film. If you haven't seen my review for this one, which is spoiler free, you gotta check this out. I mean, it's not too bad. It is kind of a good in ways. Number 12 is Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country from 1991. Despite after everybody was mixed on the last one and didn't do so well, this was a big comeback for it. Featuring William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, and others in their last outing for this. Of course, Shatner, along with James Doohan and Walter Koenig, would, however, return for some brief appearances in Star Trek Generations. Well, Shatner did have a bigger role in that. But this film's pretty good and what have you. I thought it was pretty awesome. Stay tuned for my review of this coming up later in the month. Number 11 is The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. Now, though it's a recut version of 1990's The Godfather Part 3, this came out in 2020 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of The Godfather Part 3. Though that film kind of met with mixed reviews, this one met with much better reviews, though I have no recollection of seeing much of The Godfather Part 3, well, its original form. But this one, I think, was really good. I will review that in part 2, which we'll see where that winds up later in this ranking down the road. Number 10 is Secret Headquarters. This recent Paramount Plus film was so good and what have you. It has its moments, but it had a lot of fun moments. Owen Wilson especially stole the show, but those kids were pretty darn funny. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this, check it out. Number 9 is The Howling from 1981. Now, I was originally going to get this on physical media, but since I found it on Shudder, I watched it and I really enjoy it. This is another good werewolf film. I mean, while I like some others, like The Wolfman, the original classic, and The American Werewolf in London, but this one comes right up there. Directed by Joe Dante after he did Piranha, and this was still before Gremlins came out. I gotta say, this is pretty good. Expect this to be reviewed for Spooktacular October this year. I will watch the sequels later on, and maybe I'll review them as well. Number 8 is The Godfather, Part 2 from 1974. Now, I only seem to recall seeing maybe some or most of this film, but I don't seem to recall seeing it in its entirety. But I gotta say, a pretty good sequel and prequel to the original itself, with a great cast and include Robert De Niro, one of his early films. He was really good. Everyone else was good. But I'll talk more about this when I review it. I did enjoy it, despite its 3-hour runtime. Number 7 is Graduation Day from 1981. This, I gotta say, was really good. Another kind of one of those whodunit horror slashers in my view. I gotta say, it was pretty good. But it was a big surprise to see Vanna White in this, still before she became big on Wheel of Fortune, and she did this just after her little bit of a showing on The Price is Right, even though she didn't make out a contestant's role, but hell, she was still good in this. But everyone else was good too. I definitely gotta review this sometime. Number 6 is Bullet Train. This recent Brad Pitt flick was so awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. It was just like checking out, I don't know, John Wick and what have you, but on a train and what have you. This was so awesome. A lot of the cast wasn't too bad either. Even Joy King, even though her character was, well, I don't know. But I still liked her though. You can check out my review of this my on the channel if you haven't already seen it. Well, here I am again for realsies. But anyway, I hope you've been enjoying this so far. Now it's time for the final five, and it's gonna have two unexpected surprise entries and what have you. Well, actually, correction, three, plus two more recent films that came out. Anyway, I think this is gonna be a big shock or a big surprise to any of you moviegoers out there. So now let's continue with the top five. Coming in at number 5 is The Evil from 1978. Wow, this is another film I watched on Shudder for the first time, and I must say it was pretty awesome. This is a supernatural film that's also known as Cry Demon and House of Evil. I will say it's got some really shocking kills and what have you. It follows a husband and wife team of doctors who attempt to open a rehabilitation center in a mansion built over a gateway to hell. Whoa. That was really something. It was even a surprise to see Victor Buono, who I know best as King Tut from TV's Batman, in this, as the demon himself. Wow. But I'll tell you more about this when I review it. I think I'll do this for Spooktacular October. Just stay tuned. We'll see. Details to follow, okay? But The Evil is so good. I think it was awesome. Now, coming in at number 4 is Fritz the Cat from 1972. Now, this is an X-rated animated feature directed by Ralph Bakshi, who, of course, would give us other films like Cool World, Wizards, let's see, Heavy Traffic. Of course, this is based on Robert Crumb's character, who unfortunately was not impressed with the film and what have you. I will say this film's absolutely twisted and what have you, since it's an X-rated film. But I found the film on Amazon Prime. I gotta say, despite its weirdness and what have you, I thought this was absolutely crazy. And Skip Hennett, who was big on the Electric Company at the time, did a great job in voicing the title characters. This had so much craziness, I couldn't stop laughing my head out. Even had some dirty scenes and what have you. But anyway, I'll tell you more when I review this film later on down the road. We'll see. Okay, now coming in at number 3 is Dragon Ball Superhero. Well, though I'm really not too much of a Dragon Ball person, but this might convince me to watch some of this series. I haven't watched a whole lot of the series. I saw a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, though, not a whole lot of it. But this film is so amazing. It was so intense. It had so much craziness and action, what have you. I really enjoyed it. I did do a review of it, but unfortunately, it's only got one measly view. Come on, people. I can do better than that. If the My Hero Academia review for the new My Hero Academia review did so well, I think this can do it. Get yourself some blooming brains here. I'm keeping this clean for y'all. Get some brains here and watch my review, or else I'm going to have to take it down. But I'd rather not. I'll just make it private instead. Because I'm going to say, in the words of the recent Foo Fighters, in the words of a recent Foo Fighters song, shame, 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 shame. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in trouble and for copyright and what have you. Okay, but anyway, this film's so action-packed. I saw the dubbed in English version because that's much better for me. So anyway, Dragon Ball Superhero, it was so awesome. The characters were absolutely really good. All right, and now for the final two. This was a tough decision to make, but we got a couple pretty good films. So one book-based film, one musical flick. Coming in at number 2 is Where the Crawdads Sing. Now, I gotta say, this was very good. I don't care what critics say. This film was really good. If you haven't seen my review of this film, you gotta check it out. It did pretty well. I'm really impressed. I have to say, Reese Witherspoon did a great job in co-producing this film. Daisy Edgar Jones was so amazing in this film. Everybody else was pretty good too. But anyway, well, where if it follows the book closely or not, I think this is just one film I think you should all check out. I think it's pretty good. It's full of mystery, drama, and I don't know what have you. Where the crawdads sing, I think it's pretty good. I liked it. Didn't think I would, but I did. And finally, coming in at number one, my number one first time watch of August 2022 is Bye Bye Birdie from 1963. Wow, I didn't know what to think of this. After hearing a couple of songs in in a couple of episodes of the original Zoom, which I'll tell what they are, I must say this was so incredible. Based on the musical of the same name, I most definitely got to review this film. I'll only give you a quick heads up on what I thought about what I think about this. This had a great cast, included Dick Van Dyke in one of his first films. Janet Leigh, I was surprised to see her in another film aside from Psycho. And let's see, and Margaret was really good. Wow. And of course, the songs were really good too. The theme song was so good. And I will say the two songs that I heard on Zoom were a little more cool on this one. Well, Kids was one of them. And I gotta say, that version is really good. Of course, I'm on Zoom. They made a few minor changes to some of the verses, but the other song stayed the same as I remember hearing on Zoom. And that was Put on a Happy Face. I feel like that song kind of means a lot to me because like I said, when I was popular in school, I always gave a lot of people had people put on a happy face, bring sunshine to their lives, and well, you get the point, all right. Enough said. Bye Bye Birdie, great film, another great musical. I do love it. All right, now, what are your thoughts on this ranking? What did you watch for a first time? Well, you can tell me if you wish, or tell me what you thought about the ranking in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Stay tuned. I'll have another video coming up soon, and it's going to be a special review, okay? So thanks for watching. If you like this, check out my reviews for these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is the review on Where the Crawdads Sing. The upper right-hand corner is the review on Bullet Train. And this better get some, and I'm going to do this so I can hopefully get some more views on this. The bottom left-hand corner is my review of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.